So for tonight's session, the idea will be in this main room to review just some basics about OYAP and the accelerated program to make sure that everyone is understanding what we're doing here tonight. And then at 7:30, you're going to have an opportunity to join a breakout room of your choice for one of the very specific programs that exists within the accelerated OYAP portfolio. So I'm going to explain what those programs are in a bit, and I'll show you how to get to those rooms. You've all been sent a link, and you can follow that link to the room. And then at the end of those individual sessions, you're welcome to come back to this session where I'm happy to answer your questions. Okay, so let's get started. We've got a brief video here, and I hope the audio works on this, which does explain the apprenticeship pathway very clearly, and also give some information about OYAP, and then I'll build on all of this.
For high school graduates, the path to becoming a skilled tradesperson is very rewarding, yet it can seem challenging. Take Michelle and Vin, for example. Michelle wants to become a carpenter, and Vin dreams of becoming a mechanic. To reach their goals, Michelle and Vin should follow the apprenticeship pathway. And that process begins with finding a job. To do so, they might call family and friends who have connections in the trade, search for job postings online, and reach out to companies by bringing in a resume. Finding a job can be quick for some, and might take a little longer for others. The key is to be patient and persistent. Now that they're hired, it's time they register for an apprenticeship. The ministry and the employer will help them with this process. Congrats! This is just like being accepted into college or university. The journey of becoming a qualified, skilled tradesperson just begun. Their employers will teach the required skills for the trade. Most of the learning will happen on the job. The first year of their journey might look a little like this. For 10 months, Michelle and Vin will be doing hands-on work, followed by 2 months in class in order to learn the technical knowledge required for their specific trade. On the job, they'll log their hours and keep record of the skills learned. Now, they just need to repeat this cycle 2 to 3 times, depending on their skilled trade. The process will help them gain the skills, schooling, and required hours. Their final step is writing an exam to become a certified journey person. Another cool thing, Michelle and Vin will earn money throughout their journey. Here's how it works. 1, they'll get paid when apprenticing on the job. 2, schooling is mostly paid for by the ministry. And 3, they might also receive money through employment insurance when in class. Some trades even have a bonus grant after completing each level of the apprenticeship. If you want to follow Michelle and Vin's path, OYAP is here for you. OYAP allows you to explore the skilled trades, and for some, even begin an apprenticeship during high school. This means that you could become a journey person even faster. If you're interested in the skilled trades, let OYAP be your helping hand. Visit oyap.com.
So this slide deck's been shared with you.
For high school graduates, the path to becoming a...
You'll be able to review this at your leisure as well. This chart here is one that I will often show to students and parents, and it kind of just compares the different education pathways that exist. Within these pathways, you'll see that we've got, apprenticeship, college, university. And apprenticeship, I like to highlight that 100% of people who go through apprenticeship and complete their apprenticeship will work in a job related to their training if they choose to. And that can't be said for college or university, where the numbers are quite significantly lower in terms of what I've studied, what I've trained for, and then what job I get to do. Similarly, when we talk about this being an education pathway, this chart highlights that the average apprenticeship lasts 2 to 5 years. So just like college or university, there's a lot of learning that has to happen before someone can say that they're certified in a trade. And then one of the more important numbers to highlight is that the average apprentice will complete their apprenticeship with $0 in student debt. And again, that can't be said for college or university, where the debt numbers are much higher, closer to $26,000 and $32,000 on average of debt that a student will graduate with. When we're discussing the apprenticeable trades in Ontario through OYAP, it's a list of 144 trades currently. They are broken up into 4 sections. We've got the motive power, service, construction, and industrial sector. And if you're in OYAP, you can participate in a trade in virtually any one of these trades. When we focus on the accelerated tonight, we'll be looking at trades that fall under construction, service, and motive power, respectively. As an example of some of the trades and what is required within the training, to become an electrician, you have to complete 8,160 hours of on-the-job training and 840 hours of classroom training. And so I'm going to talk about, as the video did, that training model that has students cycle through their on-the-job training hours and their classroom hours. When we are looking at the types of affiliation that you can have through OYAP, all of our students in the OYAP, in the Ontario Youth Apprenticeship Program, are considered participants. So to be a participant, you have to be at least 15 years of age, and you have to have accumulated at least 14 credits. If you're taking co-op and your co-op is in a skilled trades placement, then you're considered an OYAP participant. The second level of affiliation is what we call an OYAP registrant. These are our students who now have taken it one step further. They're participating in the trade through co-op, but they also have a very serious and genuine appreciation for the trade and want to possibly do that as a career. And when that's the case, then we allow them to become registrants as long as an employer is willing to sign them to a training agreement. The benefit of this is that upon graduation, if the employer is looking to hire them, there's a seamless transition right into that apprenticeship because the training agreement is already signed. And this is a great option for some of our grade 12s in semester 2 that are graduating and have an employer that's eager to give them a job, essentially. And then the third type of affiliation is really the focus of this evening's presentation, and that's our accelerated OYAP. This is for students who are in grade 12, are on track to graduate, and are accepted into the accelerated program. What they'll get to do is they'll actually get to do a short portion of co-op, registered with a training agreement, and then attend a training delivery agency to challenge their level 1 training, their in-class portion of their training. So if we look at that model that was talked about in the video, apprenticeship works like this. You've got a period of on-the-job training. So you've gotten hired, you've gotten your training agreement. If you're doing it through high school, you've got your co-op placement, you've got your training agreement, and you start working. And you have to work for approximately 10 months getting on-the-job training. And then at that point, you're ready for your first level of in-class training, which is approximately 8 weeks. So depending on the trade, there could be 2 to 3 of these cycles where you're doing 10 months of on-the-job training, 2 months of in-class training. And when you're completed the cycle for your trade, at the end, you've got your training levels in class completed, you've got your hours completed, and then you're ready to write a certificate of qualification exam. And in passing this exam, you're then considered a journey person certified in the trade. For some trades, there's an additional certification, which is called the Red Seal. It's another set of examinations, and it actually qualifies you to work interprovincially. Now, Where accelerated OYAP differs from that traditional apprenticeship model is accelerated OYAP kind of, it front loads that first level of in-class training. So students through their co-op will actually do a short stint in co-op. It's about 8 to 9 weeks in a co-op placement. And then they'll be in a training delivery agency, so either a college or a non-college TDA, and they'll be working on their in-class level 1. So they're going to complete their in-class portion of their training while they're still in high school. What that means is they'll then have 20 months of consecutive work before they're able to challenge their level 2. So it's just kind of flipping the order of it. So it's a great opportunity. It's an ideal situation for a lot of students. And through the application and process, we're going to kind of determine which students are the best fit, and they'll get into the program. As I mentioned, the program is for grade 12 students only. Okay, they need to have a full day co-op in semester 2. And if they have those kind of things lined up, along with some other criteria, which I'm going to review, then they're eligible to apply for one of 14 programs across 7 different training delivery agencies. The students who are successful are going to complete that 8 weeks of training. And what I'll do is I'll be working with students that apply to make sure they have everything they need in, and then make sure they know what steps they're going to need to follow to follow through with this program. More specifically, this eligibility criteria, they have to be in grade 12. Okay, they have to have completed their community service hours. When we say graduating in grade 12, that actually means they've completed all their compulsory credits already. They need to have their OSLT requirements met. So the grade 10 literacy test or the OLC course has to be completed. So they meet that criteria. They need to be registered in a 4-credit co-op for semester 2. So this is very important. If you're on this call right now as a grade 12 and you don't have co-op on your schedule, unless you're able to get 4-credit co-op for semester 2, you're not eligible for this program. So I would book an appointment to speak to your guidance counselor. In many cases, the co-op program is full and it won't be possible, but you should connect with them if that's the case. If you're in grade 11 and you're getting ahead and learning about the accelerated program, that's perfect, because you're going to be able to plan things out properly. In terms of the last criteria then is you need a sponsor. And a sponsor is the employer that is willing to train you in the trade and sign a training agreement. If you have not secured a sponsor yet, make sure you connect with your co-op teacher. That is something that needs to be kind of sorted out, because without a sponsor, you're not going to be allowed to participate in this program. Is this the right option for me? So a great kind of thing to think about is this right for you? Well, do you have a passion for a specific trade? So if you're thinking of applying for automotive service technician, you should be, interested in cars and in the trade, right? It's important that you have a passion for the trade that you're applying for. It's important that you have strong numeracy skills and that you understand that the majority of these programs, they require strong math skills. We recommend a grade 12 math, as we've seen that's what's made students the most successful in these programs. You need strong literacy skills, right? We recommend that you've completed a grade 12 English at the college or university level. And when we say we recommend these things, that has shown it's been the best marker of success for students is when they have skills in these areas, because the content is very challenging for the majority of these programs. You need to have a great attitude, you need to be coachable, you need to be ready to learn, and you need a strong work ethic, because again, they are a big challenge. And then the final one I put in there is you need to enjoy learning in the classroom before applying what you've learned. These programs are in-class training. So it's the in-class portion of your level 1. In the traditional apprenticeship model, you would work for 10 months. You would learn a lot while you were working, and then you would apply what you'd learned, and you would learn some of the theory behind it in a classroom. With this program, we're kind of flipping it around. So you're doing the theory portion, you're learning before you've had specific hands-on experience. And so you really have to be, comfortable with learning in the classroom. You have to be willing to work hard in the classroom, or it will be extremely, extremely challenging. Attendance is a crucial component to the level 1 programs. These programs are run and largely funded by the Ministry of Labor, and they're treated exactly the same as all apprenticeship training would be treated. So your high school students, you're 17 and 18 years old for the most part, but that doesn't mean anything. They're treating you like adults. And the way the seats are funded, and because the training is so condensed, you are only allowed to miss a total of 24 hours of class time before your level 1 is in jeopardy. So that's basically 3 classes. If you miss 3 classes, you could be removed from a program. They count your absences as a function of time. So if you've missed 1 class, but you've got lates where the total amount of time equals 24 hours, you can be removed from the class. Okay, so it's a really, really strict in terms of attendance, and it's something that we have no control over. The other thing to note is the in-class training expectations. So these programs are made up of a number of courses. So typically it's 5 to 6 courses in the program, and you need to earn a minimum grade in each of those courses to be granted your level 1. For the majority of the programs, it's a 60% minimum in each course. And if you're unsuccessful in just one of those courses, you will not earn your level 1, right? So you could earn 90% in 4 of the courses, but get a 50 in the 5th one, you won't earn your level 1. So it's really, really important that you stay on top of all of your work, that you're responsible for your learning, and that you're asking lots of questions, and that you're asking for help if you need help. If you have an individual education plan, you will receive accommodations. I say may receive accommodations because the onus does fall on you as a student to self-advocate. These are post-secondary education, post-secondary institutions, and they want to hear from you, the student. So I will support you and remind you of what you need to share and how you would share your IEP and the right person to contact. But it will be up to each student to advocate for themselves, to share their IEP, and to make sure they're getting their supports. The application process is going to be a Google form. It's already been sent to you. It's in this slide deck. I'll show you in a second. It does require a resume, cover letter, and references, and some other supplemental materials that you'll get from your school, like a credit counseling summary and a timetable. That'll all be submitted through Google Classroom. Okay, and I'm going to help you through this process. Students will have to participate in an interview. In some cases, the interviews are in person. In some cases, they're virtual. In some cases, it will be me and other YCDSB staff. In other cases, it will be individuals from our college and non-college TDA partners. Your attendance and academic records may be shared with those colleges should they request them, and so I will let you know about that. And so finally, in terms of the process, if you're accepted, we do provide whatever you need for the program. So books, tools, personal protective equipment, it'll all be provided. In many cases, it's going to be loaned to you from the school. And if funding allows, sometimes students are able to retain some of that. Sometimes books are going out of print from one year to the next, and students will retain them. But as a starting point, everything is on loan, but you have everything you need for the program. Transportation support is also available in some cases. So we're typically able to support with Presto passes or parking passes, depending on the institution and how you're getting there. Now, if you're not accepted, not all is lost. You're still in a very, very good situation. You are in a 4-credit co-op. You still might be able to sign a training agreement and start your apprenticeship in high school. That time you spend with your employer could actually turn into a job. And you are still going to be on track to attend a level 1 in-class training within a year of your apprenticeship, right? So you're not going to front load the education, but doesn't mean that you'll be any further behind. So you still be in a very advantageous position as a 4-credit co-op student. I know I'm talking really fast. Apologies for that. We had a little hiccup at the start. This is our application process for right now. So this poster has been sent to you. You can click right here in the slide deck or on the poster where it says click here to be able to submit an application. So if you're in grade 12 and you have co-op, submit an application. It's due on November 10th at 3 p.m. Your co-op teachers can be very helpful with this process. They've typically have helped students through it, and I'm here to support them as well. For anyone who has applied, I will have an after-school workshop on November the 13th at 4 p.m. to go over everything that's required for the supplemental part and to just kind of talk to you about what the interview process will look like. So there's lots of support through the entire process. Okay, what if you didn't take cooperative education? I'm going to save this part of the presentation for our Q&A session because I want to make sure no one is late in getting to the next portion of today's evening. So what's going to happen now is in about 2 minutes, each of these institutions will be hosting their own open house. So Centennial has an open house for auto body, auto service, truck and coach, and heavy equipment. And if you click on the appropriate links, you will be visiting their schools virtually and hearing information about the specific program. Humber is hosting Cook and Baker. George Brown is hosting refrigeration. I will tell you that George Brown offers 3 programs, four: carpentry, electrical, plumbing, and refrigeration, but only refrigeration is accessible to our students. So if you're looking for information on refrigeration, you'll be going to the George Brown session. Local 27 is offering floor covering and general carpentry. We've got construction craft worker with Leuna. We've got hairstylists with Studio 500. Humber has chosen to do an in-person session for electrical and plumber this year, and I've shared that information with you as well. The Brick and Stone Mason Training Center is going to be doing an open house in person as well, but that information is not available. So I will stay in here to troubleshoot any issues that you're having getting into your rooms. I'll be here, and then I'll also be here for a question and answer period at 8:15. So when you're done in your external sessions, feel free to pop back here and join me. Okay, I'll answer any kind of questions that are popping up in the chat now. But you have those links, and let me know if there's any issues.